afternoon. My name is Katherine Scott, and it is an honor to be speaking in front of you here today. Well, class, we made it. I want to first start by thanking all of the friends, family, and Samuel Merritt staff and faculty that are here with us today. We would not have been able to do this without you. You've supported us with your love, your patience, and your encouraging words, and for that, we are truly grateful. The journey to be here with you on this stage has been much longer than the past year for all of us, and we each have a story. Mine started 3 years ago, crunching numbers in a cubicle. I wondered, how did I get here? Like all of my classmates, I underwent a soul-searching process of informational interviews, prerequisite classes at community college, volunteer experiences, and applications, and that was before even starting this program. Upon arriving on orientation day, I was already impressed with my fellow classmates. Many of us had worked in other roles in healthcare, and some had more diverse backgrounds. A soccer player, a member of law enforcement, a Shakespearean actor, a chemistry PhD student, and a boat captain in Hawaii. I knew that each of us was making a difficult decision to go back to school. Everyone had already achieved at least one college degree. Some had worked for years in a field, achieving promotions, recognition, financial success. But in our own way, we each had a moment, or a series of moments, where we stopped to look up and ask ourselves, do I believe that I am doing great work? Do I love what I do? We all took a leap of faith to be here, to seek more heart-centered work, to become nurses. That first day, I admired my classmates already. What we found through this process is that being a nurse is not only a job, it becomes a part of who you are. And the lessons that we've learned along the way will not only make us great nurses, but they will make us better human beings. We've learned to be flexible, changing our schedules every 5 weeks for the last year, 12-hour night shifts, 2-hour commutes, 5 a.m. wake-ups, non-stop studying, and no longer being able to call our weekends our own. We've learned an immense amount of clinical knowledge, another language and way of thinking, complete with a virtual alphabet soup of acronyms, from SCDs and CVPs to UAPs and DBTs. Those of you that have lived with us likely experienced our enthusiasm for what we were learning as we went around diagnosing ourselves and others with whatever we happened to be studying that month. Heartburn? It could be a ruptured aortic aneurysm. Headache? What if it's an intracerebral hemorrhage? We've learned that laughter, especially at ourselves, often is the best medicine. From the fast stroke acronym song in one of the first class presentations, to our loving nicknames to differentiate our two Dans, known to us as Platinum and Ginger, to practicing bed baths on each other in our first weeks in Skills Lab, humor really is a great healer. We've learned impermanence and the ever-changing nature of life, as we've witnessed the entire spectrum of the human experience from birth to death and everything in between. We won't forget the joy and wonder of assisting our first live birth. I know I won't forget the first patient that truly touched my heart. He was a 32-year-old man with melanoma that had metastasized to his brain, his bones, and his lungs. I was holding his hand as his mother asked him if he was ready to die. While a few of my tears spilled over in the patient's room, I waited until I was in post-conference to truly break down crying. Feeling the fulfillment of helping another, as well as the love and support of my colleagues, in that moment, I knew that I had found great work. We've learned courage, choosing our own path and following our hearts to become nurses, as well as the moral courage that is required to advocate for our patients, even if it might mean adverse consequences for us. And finally, we've learned compassion. For being a nurse is not only about skills learned from a textbook or practiced in a skills lab. It's about holistically healing our patients. We go beyond treating a medical condition. We treat the human being. And healing a human being requires listening, a soft touch, holding a hand, and being present for the joy as well as the grief and pain. I, for one, can think of no more meaningful work. In closing, I'd like to quote the late Steve Jobs, a man who waged his own 8-year battle with cancer before succumbing in late 2011. He said, "You've got to find what you love. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary." It is with great anticipation that I look forward to the continuing journeys of each of my classmates. I am confident that if we continue to listen to our hearts and intuition that have led us here today, we will succeed in nursing as well as in life. Thank you.